The Bible tells the story of a young man named Joshua, who was strong and full of courage, who led his people into the promised land.
What the fuck? You know, I've been planning to do this review for about a year, even writing the review up in my head since like January. Little did I know that better critics than I would take a crack at it, but it's just that bad. I really don't know much about Joshua and the Promised Land's history. Really, the only things I got is that it was apparently a one-man show, produced in 2003, and it actually did manage to get a DVD release. I have no idea how, but hey, miracles can happen. So you know what, this is already going to be pretty long, so let's just get started. That production logo is about as impressive as it's gonna get. Wow, riveting. Like, I'm seriously hyped up right now. Also, I know this is a bit harsh, but I've learned not to trust movies in which the opening credits only have about 4 last names. Fuck you.
The Bible tells the story of a young man named Joshua, who was strong and full of courage, who led his people into the promised land. Our Joshua isn't really like that.
Well, screw you. I want to see a movie about the other Joshua.
He doesn't feel strong or brave, but he wishes he did.
Not installing much confidence in your main character, are you? Oh god, this movie's gonna be bad. Alright, to give you a basic idea here, let's just go over all the problems in just the first 2 minutes. First, who the fuck is this guy, and why is he floating in front of a handkerchief? 2, that lion on the TV just died, like, just flat out died. Very violently, I might add. Disintegrated. I'm not sure what just happened there, but it was more than likely very, very painful. 3, holy shit, this animation is terrible. I mean, I get it was basically made by one guy, but they don't look right. They don't move right. Nothing in this movie looks finished. And I might have forgiven it if it wasn't that great of animation, if it just didn't look so bland. There is nothing interesting about the way the world is designed. In fact, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that Zoo Race game that JonTron reviewed.
Holy shit! I think I'm bleeding from the chest.
4, the voice acting is terrible.
Hi, Dad.
Pick up your stuff, Joshua.
Hell, just look at that weird demon thing from the beginning.
Joshua, who was strong and full of courage, who led his people into the promised land.
This is what happens when I do a C-3PO impression while doing a William Shatner impression. 5, the sound effects don't match up and most of the time are just unnecessarily loud. 6, these pictures hanging around their home are from later in the movie. Who the hell, no matter how religious, just has all these pictures of the story of Joshua hanging around their house? 7, I'm pretty sure the dad is going to hit the mom. Domestic violence. Perfect family entertainment. 8, why does Josh's mom have a mane? Yes, there are some cases of lionesses having manes, but they are extremely rare. And this is a perfect segue into point number 9. Why are they animals? I mean, I'm not opposed to them being anthropomorphic animals, but they have no tails, and their fur basically looks more like skin anyway. Honestly, take away the heads, they would look just like naked humans. Was it because you couldn't design clothes? And 10, Josh lays down on a bed as hard as a rock. A bedrock, if you will. That's 10 problems in the first 2 minutes, guys. Be prepared. This is gonna suck.
As you can see, Joshua feels kind of lost in the shuffle.
No, I'm pretty sure there are other problems, like the fact that his dad is about to beat the shit out of his mom. Aliens! Quick, get all of the cheese! Ah! By God, he kills and skins his brethren? The fuck is wrong with this kid? So this little abomination wakes Josh up with an energy blast to the face. And he introduces himself.
Who are you?
Some people call me the best friend, but my real name is Christopher Andrew Eugene Bazioni at your service.
I don't know why, but for some reason this character reminds me of Bushwick from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
By the way, name's Bushwick, but call me Schwick. Just Schwick.
But it's okay if you don't like it. Just call me Chris.
So Chris tells Joshua that he's here to take him on a journey, but he can't tell him where until they get there.
I don't know. My mom will get mad if I'm late for dinner.
Hey, I promise that I will have you back in time for dinner.
Perfect family entertainment! So Chris takes Josh through the roof and they go flying through the air at speeds that I'm pretty sure should rip Josh's arm out of its socket. Ha! He nearly died. Seriously, I'm pretty sure Chris is the ghost of a child murderer.
If you've never seen one, this is a pyramid. It was built by the Jews, who were slaves of the Pharaohs a long, long time ago.
Okay, first off, no, that's a myth. They were actually built by paid contractors. And two, why the fuck are you still here? Go away! Chris and Joshua come across the great Pharaoh who has just lost his slaves to Moses. And I'm not 100% sure if the depiction of the Pharaoh here is supposed to be racist, but I'm gonna say no because this movie isn't competent enough to be racist.
You know, some people just never learn. God could hit them right over the head.
Where the fuck did you get that?
And they still don't get it.
What doesn't he get?
So Chris and Josh fly over the army, and I just realized, why do they have normal horses in this world of anthropomorphic animals? Seriously, I am confident they were originally supposed to be human, and the dude just couldn't draw clothes. Or maybe it's because his last name is Lion and he just wanted to be really clever. They come across the presence of God, which is represented as a big fire. Even though Chris explicitly says that if anyone touches it, they will die, Josh wants to go towards it anyway.
Come on!
Would it have cost any money to turn down the volume there? Also, what the hell did he hit right there?
Listen, Joshua. Sometimes a no means maybe. I'll grant you that.
Stop saying things to make you look like a pedophile!
Sometimes a no means maybe. I'll grant you that.
Like when you ask the neighborhood children if they want to come in and see all the candy in your basement. So they see Moses about to part the sea and...
According to the Bible, Moses is the guy God picked to do all his miracles and lead the slaves to freedom. He's one of the good guys.
Oh gee, never would have guessed that! Chris takes Joshua and puts him in the body of the Joshua from the Bible and makes him walk across the Red Sea. God, what a dick. And of course, when the Pharaoh tries to cross, the sea collapses on them and drowns them all. Perfect family entertainment!
Hey, kid. Miss me?
No! Fuck off!
I want to go home.
You'll be going home soon enough.
Didn't you promise him he would be back in time for dinner?
I promise that I will have you back in time for dinner.
Well, that took all night. So he's a liar as well as a pedophile and a kidnapper.
Now they're all free, it doesn't really mean life is all of a sudden easy for them. That sand gets into everything. The Jews have to cross the wilderness now. Moses is trying to lead them to the promised land. That's a place on the other side of the desert where the weather is really nice and has abundant food and water. They have all these tents and pots and things, but they left Egypt in such a hurry they didn't have time to bring any food. So they're all really hungry and irritable. It's the middle of the desert, so it's not like they can go find the nearest restaurant. Since Moses is their leader, he's the one that had to ask God to feed the people.
Wow, you condensed what could have been 10 minutes of interesting conflict into 10 lines of exposition. Thank you, Pink Panther's deadbeat uncle. So God brings about a bunch of quail, and Moses asks Joshua to fetch him one to eat.
Yes, sir, Moses.
Oh God, I can't bend down. This animation is so bad that I can't bend down. This is excruciating. Help!
Joshua, I want you to pitch your tent next to mine from now on.
Perfect family entertainment. Suddenly it starts raining cookies and...
Quail didn't last long, so God also gave them something called manna. It's like a cookie, only it's really good for you. Joshua likes it.
You know, Chris is right there. Why can't he explain this shit? They see some smoke in the distance, and Moses says that it is the Amalekite army, who want to capture all of them. Moses decides to make Joshua the leader of his army, while Moses will stand on the hilltop, letting them know God is on their side. So, what you're saying is that Moses is basically...
a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her.
Somebody else.
He looks like a deer caught in the headlights, doesn't he? The Amalekite army wants to kill all the Jews, or make them slaves, just like the Pharaoh did to them. Only this time they have to stand up and fight for themselves, if they want God to help them.
I swear to God, if you don't shut up, I will pull you out of the movie and eat you! So Joshua and the troops prepare for battle, as Moses raises his arms to let them know God is on their side.
The trick to winning this battle was for Moses to keep his hands up in the air so they would know God was on their side. But eventually Moses got tired. Who wouldn't?
Oh, boo freaking who, Moses? There are people dying out there and you can't hold your arms in the air. I love that what's considered good in one movie is considered terrible in another. Like, imagine that scene in Attack of the Clones where Anakin killed the Tusken Raiders.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them.
They do manage to win, and later that night Moses is spoken to by the voice of God as, I guess killing all those people means that you are the master race. The next morning, God comes down in a giant lightning cloud and gives the Jews the 10 Commandments.
I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything on earth or in heaven. You shall not misuse my name.
Yes, but what about the gays?
These are all the elders going up.
Shut the fuck up!
So they all go up to a brick spot in the middle of the desert, and Moses is told to come speak with God.
Joshua, I want you to come with me.
Yes, Moses.
Come on, we get to go up.
Sorry, kid, I'm not invited. You're on your own with this one. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna see God. What could happen?
What could happen when you go to see God? Well, when most people go to see God, they're a little thing called dead! God calls upon Moses, and Joshua is left to wait behind.
Joshua had a really long wait. 40 days he sat there on the mountain by himself.
I promise that I will have you back in time for dinner.
He doesn't look too happy, does he? I feel like giving him a book or something, poor guy.
Yeah, how about instead getting him a blanket so he doesn't freeze to death? Maybe then you can make yourself useful. Eventually, Moses returns with the famous stone tablets and they head back down. So, what was the point of bringing Joshua along?
There's a sound of war in the camp.
No, Joshua. It is not the sound of victory or of defeat that I hear. It is the sound of singing. No! No!
Oh! No! Ah, great. Don't you hate when you leave for 40 days and your followers start worshipping?
It's a crude
Shut the fuck up, you dog demon! So because the Jews started worshipping a false god, they are all forced to drink water filled with the remains of the statue because punishment? And the tablets are put in the Ark of the Covenant to be buried for thousands of years until this guy finds it. Joshua is sent into the Promised Land to the city of Jericho, where, because the dumb kids won't realize these are bad guys, all the residents look like demons.
I bet you're wondering what Joshua is doing.
No, not really. So Joshua enters the town, which appears to be full of drunken assholes, when he comes across this. Perfect family entertainment! Joshua tells Chris about the sacrifice, and Chris tells him that this gives them the perfect excuse to kill all of them.
These people are doing things detestable to God. They murder, they steal, they commit adultery.
What's that?
Never mind that.
Oh, okay, so killing a baby and having dozens of people killed on screen is okay, but explaining what adultery is? That's too dark. And that's really the biggest problem with this movie. Well, excluding the animation. It doesn't know what audience it's trying to appeal to. I'm assuming it's trying to be a family film, but it's way too violent for kids and the rating is too juvenile for adults. This is not a story that is meant for a family audience, and I'm not saying it's impossible to make a violent Bible story accessible for kids. I mean, Rugrats did it fine, but when they told the story of Moses, they told it in a way that didn't dumb the story down. They did it in a way kids could understand without being too dark, and adults could enjoy it because it isn't treating them like idiots who don't understand what's going on without being told by Mr. Exposition here.
There's a big difference between fighting a war when people just want to kill you and fighting one to make the world a better place. It's a lot harder to find that kind of courage.
Yes, audience, I don't know if you know, but you're supposed to be worried right now. Joshua goes to tell them all about the people of Jericho, but none of the Jews want to fight, thinking they will be defeated. Weird, didn't stop them before, but okay.
The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size.
No, they're not! Whatever, God decides that if they will not fight, then they will not be able to enter the Promised Land.
These guys had to wander in the desert for 40 years.
I promise that I will have you back in time for dinner.
You are a lying, homicidal, pedophile, kidnapping, lazy asshole!
Then one day Moses disobeyed God. It was a small thing, really. He was angry and he hit this rock with his staff twice. God had told him to call forth water from the rock with his voice, not to hit it with his staff. So even Moses was condemned to die in the desert.
Didn't he hit the rock earlier? So with all the cowards dead and their children willing to take on the task of killing everyone, Moses is told that he can lay his eyes on the Promised Land one last time before he dies. Why does Moses have a chin 4 times larger than a regular chin?
Go through the camp and tell the people. Get your supplies ready. 3 days from now you will cross the Jordan here to go in and take possession of the land the Lord your God has given you as your own.
Wow. That was a really bad line read. Like, I did not believe one word that came out of his mouth. So the day comes and the group heads to the city where...
I think he's been looking
for
forward.
Fuck's sake.
That's my cue. I'll see you in a minute.
So is he Chris's twin brother or something?
Are you for us or for our enemies?
Neither, but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come.
So... for us. So they head into the Promised Land and begin circling the city, which they do for 6 days straight, much to the confusion of the city of Jericho, until the 7th day, when they just stop.
So much for that fearsome God of theirs.
If you could take my arm right now, it would feel just like a sledgehammer. If you could feel my heartbeat now, it would hit you like a sledgehammer.
Again, considered good in one movie, considered tragic in another.
And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too. They're like animals. and I slaughtered them like animals.
Perfect family entertainment. Okay, so follow me on this one. One of the bricks turns into a demonic head which flows through the air and disappears. I am about 99% certain that that did not happen in the original story.
So, are you ready to wake up?
Would you please repeat that?
So, are you ready to wake up?
He was dreaming the whole time. He dreamed 40 years and 2 hours? What?
In a dream, your mind functions more quickly, therefore, time seems to feel more slow.
But 40 years? So Chris takes Joshua back home and explains what the hell the point of all this was.
What I'm trying to say is, when you wake up, things won't be exactly the same.
You mean with my mom and dad?
You live at a different age than Joshua did. The dream was just a taste of what you can have.
So you're saying I should kill them?
Anyway, you're late for dinner, which was not my fault.
Yes, it was, you asshole. Chris and Joshua say one last goodbye before Josh heads down for dinner. Wait, so was it a dream or not? Mom, Dad, I bring bricks from the Promised Land! Don't smile for that, you almost died. Also, holy shit, his parents bought him a real sword! So Joshua's parents are continuing to be assholes to each other as he comes down and then... this.
I'm sorry I yelled at you, honey.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Darling?
Yes, dear?
I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'll try to spend some more time with you. With both of you.
What the hell just happened?
And they lived happily ever after. Okay, maybe not all the time, but they were certainly better off, especially Joshua.
His dad only beats him 3 times a week now.
Just goes to show you what a little courage can do, with God's blessing, of course.
Oh, no, you don't! So that was Joshua in the Promised Land. Was it bad? Okay, that's a stupid question. Besides the terrible animation, voice acting, directing, and sound mixing, it has no idea if it wants to be a movie for kids or adults. So it tries for both, but ends up pleasing no one. Kids will be scared off by the violence, adults will be turned off by the bad writing, and both will be repelled by the animation. That said, it isn't a movie that elicits much anger. At least, not in total. Being angry at this is like being angry at someone's web animation. Yeah, you can tell it sucks, but if it really makes you that angry, then you're kind of an asshole. I give him major props for getting this on DVD, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Even as so bad it's good goes, this is mostly just boring. But hopefully I made it enjoyable for you guys. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. It's pumpkin pie. I don't like pumpkin pie. Why did I pick pumpkin pie? It doesn't look like him if... Okay, the bad thing is we might have to try that again.